Oh, we are on live, sir.
So good evening, doctors and all the participants. I Shuman on behalf of Shield Healthcare, welcoming you all in today's very interesting session on this World Embryologist Day in association with Academy of Clinical Embryology, Clinical Embryologist India invites you a webinar. So before starting the webinar, as it's a special day, today is the World IVF Day and World Embryologist Day. So just share me one appreciation towards our doctors and all the associates who are actively engaged in this great initiative. So just give me 1 minute time. So thank you very much all. Saiti, can you please share the CVs of today's co-conveners? So it is our honor to introduce the co-conveners of today's program, Dr. Rahul Sen sir, Dr. Sanket Dhumal Satya sir, and Dr. Akash Agarwal sir. It's our honor to introduce Dr. Rahul Sen sir. Sir is currently working as a chief embryologist, chief clinical embryologist in Nilkant Fertility, Jaipur, Rajasthan. He is the executive member, Academy of Clinical Embryologists, SC India, executive member, ISAR Rajasthan chapter, IFS. Rajasthan chapter, invited faculty for Amity University for ART fellowship program by Indian Fertility Society, and sir is actively engaged in ART since last 13 years. And in terms of academic activities, sir published many papers in many national and international journals. Sir is the reviewer for Journal of Reproductive Healthcare and Medicine, GRHM, and he is also the member of ISAR, IFS, ACE, and ASHRE. So now introducing Dr. Sanket Dhumal Satya sir. Sir is the senior clinical embryologist, Shema IVF Fertility and Reproductive Medicine Center, KSH Medical College, Bangalore. Sir did his MSc in Genetics and MSc in Clinical Embryology, University of Mysore, and he is presently associated with as a clinical embryologist, multiple IVF center in and around Bangalore. And sir is the Institute Certified Clinical Embryologist, Executive Committee member of Academy of Clinical Embryologists, Scientific Committee member, IHERA, and editorial board member, Journal JBRA, Assisted Reproduction, and S Newsletter, and IHERA Newsletter. So is the reviewer journals of many journals, including PLOS ONE, JBRA, Reproduction, AJOG, JHRS, etc. And has authored many publications and book chapters, and he is the principal investigator for several projects in Shema Medical College. He is also the member of ACE, ASHRE, ISAR, IFS, and Indian Science Congress. So, and he is also a regular faculty in more than 50 various national and international conferences, delivered many talks and multiple advanced workshops in the field of fertility. And his area of interest is male infertility and cryobiology. So now it's time to introduce Dr. Akash Agarwal sir. Sir is MBBS, is a certified clinical embryologist, scientific director, H Fertility Hyderabad. Sir is an alumnus of Osmania Medical College, practicing male fertility and embryology since 2011. Sir is topper history clinical embryology, Vienna 2019, actively involved in academics and has co-authored a book chapter. He is an active member of national and international fertility organizations, including ASHRE, ISAR, IFS, MESI, and participated many multiple national conferences as faculty and conducted various workshops in andrology and embryology, including vitrification and IUI. And Sir has a keen interest in male fertility treatment with the surgical reduced sperm. So with the short introduction of our co-conveners of the programs today, I would like to hand over the session to the co-conveners for further proceedings. So thank you very much all for participation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Suman, for that kind introduction. So now I would like to invite Ved Prakash sir, the president of ACE, and Dr. Sanjay Shukla sir, vice president of ACE, and Dr. Sujata Ramakrishnan, madam, secretary ACE.
Again, I don't think we need to show this CV. We can start directly. Okay.
Yes, sir, over to you.
Thank you so much, Shield Pharma and Sanket, of course, Sanket, Akash, and Rahul, for this wonderful evening. Today is World Embryologist Day, and I wish you all that happy Embryologist Day. And I was thinking since yesterday, right, what I have to speak tomorrow. So I have 3 words for you all. I think everyone is following these things. But I thought, why not to share these things to you people? These are 3 words. PET, P-E-T. PET, like patient. What's your profession? It should be there for all the embryologists. And we should be, of course, we are treating patients. So we all should be like patient centric. We have to think about the patient for the betterment of patient. And E stand for ethics. We should follow all the rules and regulations. As you know that recently laws are implemented, so we have to follow these all things. And T stands for technology and teamwork. So whatever is happening, technologies are coming daily. You have to update yourself, and if you feel these are better for our profession, why not to use this technology? And we have to work like a team. So teamwork should be there. We have to communicate each other more and more. I know everyone is doing this thing, but I thought why not to share these things this very auspicious day. So with that, thank you so much. Thank you everyone, and once again, happy Embryologist Day to you all.
Thank you so much, Ved sir, for that kind words of on the occasion of World Embryologist Day. So I would like to request Sujata madam, secretary of ACE, to speak a few words.
Sanket, I think she will join later because she's in meeting. So
Okay, sir.
Sanjay Shukla is there, you can call me.
Yes, sir. Sanjay sir, vice president of ACE, to speak a few words.
Thank you, Sanket. At the onset, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, we all know today is Louis Brown's birthday, and a few years ago, few of the senior embryologists and other IVF specialists proposed that why should not we observe this special day as the World Embryologist Day to recognize the contribution of Jean Purdy and Professor Bob Edwards, which led the path on which we are running smoothly, just to commemorate the struggle, the dedication, the devotion that these people have put on. And finally, we decided, yes, why not? And eventually, we started celebrating or observing this day as the World Embryologist Day. Incidentally, last 2 or 3 years have been very challenging for us, not just for the embryologist or for the IVF fraternity, but everyone in the world has faced the challenge posed by the pandemic. Healthcare professionals especially were under pressure because they were taking on the bull with the horns. But as the human race's basic nature is, we emerged victorious. Yet the war continues. The main challenge that we had is to adopt to a newer environment, and therefore we modified the way we were working. We had very, the changes that we made in our laboratory, the protocols, everything was changed. And of course, we adopted ourselves to the newer situations. But we are, as I said earlier, victorious, and we will continue to fight with the challenges that are the coming up in coming days. Here, I would like to congratulate you all that you have worked very well in the newer situations. But another challenge that Dr. Ved Prakash also mentioned is the newer ART law. It seems that they have made it very simple, but believe me, it is going to be very tough in coming days. So be ready, read it carefully, and do all the ethical work that you can, because this is the only way you can survive in the era that has to come. So again, congratulations to one and all, and welcome to this wonderful event that is organized by our ACE team.
Thank you so much, Sanjay sir, for that words of wisdom. I think Sujata madam has joined. Madam, can you speak few words? Ma'am?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you, Sanket. Good evening, everybody. It's indeed a great pleasure to be here amongst all of you on this particular evening, where we are actually celebrating the World IVF Day and the World Embryologist Day. Actually, I was listening to Dr. Sanjay Shukla, who had very, he had put all the points which the challenges faced earlier and what progress we have made and how the future is going to be for the embryologist. So there is nothing much to add for me, but at a personal level, what I would like to say is embryology is not like any other profession. Only reason being that we are actually creating life. Okay, they say that you can't play God, but definitely this is, at least assisting God in creating life. So that feeling has to be there with all of us, the embryologists, because, of late, what I observe at least is we are trying to look at things as numbers, like say our fertilization rate, our degeneration rate, our blastulation rate, like it is all in terms of rates and numbers. Instead, it has to be looked upon as a live birth, a live, like human being, which is going to come out of that particular gamete or the particular embryo. So that empathy has to be there. Technology can take us anywhere. Technology can make our jobs much, much easier. But I think, this empathy is something which all of us as embryologists should develop, and then should feel the actual thing, whatever we are doing, instead of just looking at it as any other profession. So I'm really proud to be an embryologist because it just gives me so much of satisfaction. And, I was told when I just started my career that even if you can get 1 in 100 pregnant, it is worth it. And those words actually kind of remain in me, that, if I can get 1 extra patient pregnant, and I feel that whatever I've been doing is, it's worth it. So this is the message I want everybody to have in mind. And then Now we are given guidelines where we have to do, our practices actually change. Whatever we are doing, technically there may not be much change, but how we look at IVF in terms of the usage of donor gametes and all those things actually would change. And I think we should adapt these changes quickly and then emerge as one of the finest embryologists across the globe. So with that, I would like to thank for this opportunity, and I wish you all a very happy Embryologist Day.
Thank you so much, Sujata ma'am. And now I would like to hand it over to my co-coordinators, Akash and Rahul.
Thank you, Dr. Sanket. First of all, at the onset, I would like to say a happy Embryology Day to all of you. And as has been...
Sorry, Akash.
Yes, sir.
We'll start that now. Everyone
will start the procession. Yes, sir. Can we have the slides, please, of the moderators of the next session?
Because Dr. Srinath, Dr. Priya is there, and after Swami is there, they have to speak.
Yes, yes, sir. Sorry for that. I would like to invite, start with Srinivas sir. No need of introductions, I guess, like Ved sir had said, no need of any CV, the founder president of our ACE and what we call a beloved ACE, Academy of Clinical Embryologists. Srinivas sir.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Happy Embryologist Day, International Embryologist Day. Instead of saying World IVF Day, I would say first Happy Embryologist Day, all my embryologist community. Let me give you an example of my career only. Coming to this profession for me was an accidental. I was just looking for a job. I just joined as an embryologist. That time, embryologist profession was not well defined. That was the time actually we started, there must be the guideline kind of a thing. Who should be practicing an embryologist? That's how embryologist profession is originated in India. Those days, those who have done MSc in life science used to practice as an embryologist. As you all know that things are keeps on changing. I don't say it is in a changing, I would say rather evolving. So that's what now ART guideline has come into the picture. They say if you want to become an embryologist, you have to have a master degree in embryology. That is the first preference. Yes, if you want to practice in any medical field, they have to have a specialization in certain area, then only. But what we have done last 35 to 38 years, which is very important, because government is woke up now. It was not done well in advance. So that is the reason why we have all practicing embryology in a different area, like MSc, veterinary science. So those who have done BSc also, they have started. Now it is the time actually we have to learn a lesson, but those who have done MSc and they have been practicing embryology, they did not have to bother. Only thing, if you want to have an additional qualification, you can have an embryology in clinical embryology, MSc in clinical embryology. Otherwise, according to the guideline, we still are eligible. But now, because bill is passed, as a responsible person in the embryology lab, you will have to be very careful. Because anyway, many of us not owning the IVF lab, it is owned by the clinicians or a private sector. We are going to have a responsible job there. We have to be very careful in dealing with the things in the embryology lab. Okay, with this, I will complete my talk.
Thank you, sir, for the succinct outlook of how the embryology profession as such is changing over the decades. Thank you for that. I would next invite Dr. Priya Kannan, if we can have a few pearls of wisdom from her as well.
Yeah, good evening, everyone, and a very happy Embryology Day and an IVF Day to one and all. It truly is a special moment for all of us, because I think it just started in way back, few decades back, and we are just a field which is only few decades old, and we've been bringing happiness to countless and millions of families. So Kudos to all of you, to everyone involved in the field of fertility. Every bit matters, every person matters. And as Srinivas has already mentioned, now is the time to upgrade ourselves and ensure that we comply with everything that the law has put it in black and white, and we march ahead. We've always been learning. Embryologists have never stopped learning. We have learned, we have evolved, we have changed, we have adapted to newer techniques, and now it's time to adapt to a law. As simple as that. So I'm sure we will do that. We will come out with all glory out of this also, and we will do a great job of this. So it's a proud moment for ACE to have this program, and thank you, Ved, and the committee for having this, and it's really nice to see you all again.
Thank you, ma'am, for the precise, and we do need to keep update ourselves. I would like to invite Dakshinmurthy Swaminarayan sir. You can share with us in his own style, unique style.
Good evening, all of you. I think all my friends have explained. We are in the phase 2. So know your responsibilities, read the law carefully, make sure all the things are in place. Happy Embryologist Day, happy Embryologist forever. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, wait, sir. Anyone else? I'm actually logged in from mobile, so I can't see other people who are logged in.
Charu sir is with us. Charudha Joshi sir.
Okay. Joshi sir.
If he is not there, can we?
I think we are
the main program. Sanket.
Which?
Charudha, Joshi.
Ved, I think we should start with the program, and in between we can have people felicitating, no? Because we're already late by about half an hour now.
Let's start with that program then.
Okay, sir. Can we have the next slide for the moderators? Yeah, so we'll be moving on to the first topic for today. We have a very wonderful topic, the role of what's the embryologist is. So we had an article from my beloved friend, Dr. Sanket Vimal Satya from over here. And to moderate the session, I would like to call on Dr. Gaurav Majumdar, Treasurer ACE, and Dr. Priya Kannan. Ma'am is past president ACE India. Dr. Gaurav Majumdar is a chief embryologist at Center for Reproductive Medicine, Sir Gangaram Hospital, one of the elite hospitals in New Delhi. He has earned his MSc in clinical embryology from Singapore, has done his PhD on pre-GT, and then he is right now heading the center at Sir Gangaram Hospital, where more than 1,000 cycles are being done every year. So welcome to you, sir. Dr. Priya Kannan is a qualified MBBS doctor with Masters in Medicine and MCE. She is the clinical embryology director at Garbha Rakshambika Fertility Center. She is a past president for ACE India and authored many chapters in many books. It's an honor to have you over here, ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you so much, and for the invitation and for the kind introduction. Without much ado, I would like to invite Sanket to deliver this beautiful topic of embryologist, the person who nurtures life under the microscope. Sanket is quite well known to all of us. He's a very young, promising leader for ACE, and with a lot of academic interest. And we have known his organizing qualities as well through ACE and through IHERA. So over to you, Sanket, to deliver the talk.
Thank you so much, Priya ma'am, for that kind words. So without much further delay, I'll be sharing my screen. Hope my screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So, well, I'll be talking on about embryologist, the one who nurtures life under a microscope. So to start with, so what does the Google say? Whenever you type the very word called embryologist in the Google, so it shows various suggestions like salary in India, embryologist is a doctor or not, qualifications in India, and certifications, and the embryologist near me. So these are the things what Google has to say whenever you try to Google the word embryologist. And the definition, what it shows in the Google again is like, a person who studies the development of animals between the fertilization of the egg and time when the animal is born. So this is like a very wide spectrum of definition, but this is like you can consider a general definition because it includes all the plant embryologists, animal embryologists who are working with animal models, and the evolutionary embryologist and all. But here, the very definition for clinical embryologist is different. So let's see what it is. And whenever you try to Google the images for the embryologist, this is how you get to see people doing ICSI or handling the dishes, and always were somewhat associated with the microscopes. So yeah, coming to the first scientifically documented baby, that is Louis Brown. So yeah, she has turned 44 today. Wishing her a very happy birthday. And yes, it's the architects behind this achievement is Dr. Edwards, Dr. Patrick Steptoe, and Jean Purdy. So for this achievement, they have even awarded a Nobel Prize in the year 2010 in physiology and medicine. So this is with respect to the Western side. So what is it about India? So do we have any inventions earlier than this, or before, after this? Let's see. So just bringing the mythology of India. So what does the mythology of India tells that, the Kauravas, the so-called great Kauravas of Mahabharata, maybe born out of this IVF or test tube baby technology. So if so, who was the embryologist then? Again, that's a million dollar question. Having that question in mind, let's see what has been done in the same year in 1978. So Dr. Subhash Mukherjee created a history when he became a first physician in India and second in the world to perform IVF, resulting in the first test tube baby, that is Durga Aka Kanupriya Gawal, on October 3rd, 1978. In fact, Durga was the world's first frozen IVF baby. So unfortunately, he was harassed by the state government and not allowed to share his achievements with the international community. So rejected this, he committed suicide in the year 1981. So I think it's I feel very pride and proud to remember him on the day of World Embryologist Day. And well, coming to the topic, so have you ever wondered who this clinical embryologists are, or what actually they do in the lab? So basically they're scientists who spend most of their time and energy in lab creating a life. So yes, they are diligent scientists who use their skills to fulfill their sensitive task of focusing the oocyte and fusing the sperm and the oocyte either by IVF or ICSI, and also they culture the embryos, they grade the embryos, and the selection of the embryos for the transfer, and freezing the embryos which are extra. So these are the mainstream jobs. Along with that, embryologists also do that. They perform embryo biopsies for PGT. It could be PGT-A or SR or PGT-M, and also I think I missed a point here. We're also responsible for fertility preservation procedures. Where we are involved, we are supposed to freeze the testicular tissue or ovarian tissue, or nowadays, which is highly picking up the social freezing for oocytes. So we are also responsible for that. We are involved in that process as well. And also overall, we are responsible for maintaining the quality control of an embryology lab. So this is not that easy to achieve all these things. Although it looks on surface, it looks very easy, but we need to follow procedures step by step, very precisely and meticulously. And it requires, it is very challenging and requires a highly skilled embryologist to achieve a satisfactory results. So yeah, I can say that embryologist is the one who can feel the silence of an embryos. How? Let me explain. So we always deal with uphill task of nurturing the embryos, which are, say, microscopic potential future human beings, which are sensitive, I can say ultra sensitive to the very minuscule changes in the tiny or micro environment which they live in. And yes, we do understand the silence of an embryo, whether it is feeling cold or hot, or it is like, by maintaining the temperature, ambient temperature, the surface temperature in the workstations or examinations. We always try to give the ambient temperature or optimal conditions for their growth, development. So even we can see whether the embryo is tertiary or not, or like in the sense we need to change the media to the fresh media or a fresh dish, or it is broken in the sense of my perspective, my view was here broken in the sense that it is highly fragmented, or they're arrested or in pause. So we understand all this, what embryos are telling us, and by understanding all this, we can provide a suitable conditions for the initial but most important and challenging step for the long-lasting voyage. So yes, again, we have multiple names. So the embryos can also be considered as the first babysitter in the world, which that the world does not know of. And yes, we often call us with many names such as scientist, IVF scientist, reproductive biologist, cell biologist, basic biologist, and the list goes on. So our task mainly involves working in the dark, most of the times away from the rest of the world, and all the time aiming for only one thing, only for one goal, that is at least half of them survive their initial small journey, and out of them only at least half of the survivors will see the light of the day, which is again 9 months later. So this will be the ultimate goal for any working clinical embryologist. Is this job a stressful job? Yes, it is a high stress job of giving a stress-free output. Sorry for the bad voice, I got a cold, so apologies for that. Added to this enormous responsibility of this couple's future, the stress of seeing negative results is always there, and at the time of negative results, all fingers pointing out in the direction of embryology lab is something like we're used to that, but the thing is, now things are much polished, and things are culture medias as well as technology, the things which we use in the culture are very much optimized. Even the production of the these things are very much optimized. So because of that, we are able to achieve at least 50-60% of results nowadays, but that was not the case earlier. Anyways, this negative results also affects us negatively, though it is hidden in the very atmosphere where we work. And yes, it is a high stress job. The stress of maintaining the embryos stress-free. And yeah, well, coming to the most important aspect, whether our profession is recognized or not. Yes, let's see. Coming to the status of recognition, yes, extra certified certification is formally recognized by SESMA, Council for European Specialist Medical Assessment. And again, the ISRM is accredited with the Accreditation Council for Continuing Medical Education. But what about India? Yes, now we can proudly say that last year was very special to us. In the month of December 2021, there was a new ART Act 2021, which, so what about India? Yes, finally we have been recognized from the very government of India as a profession, along with a very proper mention of the qualification, who can be an embryologist in India. Coming to the modern embryologist, so who am I? So there are multiple roles which are again attached to, which are associated with the modern embryologist. So see, they, apart from the technical expertise, they have other roles to do. Like there has to be researcher, have to be manager, and they have to be collaborator, scholar, mentor, communicator, and all of the above. One must be a real team player. So this is these are the new roles that has been assigned to the modern embryologist, along with the technical expertise. So is it worth it after all this hard work and the amount of time we have put in, energy we have put in? Is it worth it? Yes, the smile and happiness that we can give to a couple gives us immense sense of satisfaction, with so many responsibilities to fulfill, and so varied set of skills that are required, and always failure being an integral part of our role. It is worth it. Is it worth it? Yes. It is the feeling of completing a short but extraordinary journey and reaching the destination which no words can describe, and every embryologist would agree it is definitely worth it. And yeah, I've written an article on the same topic, and it was thanks for so much of love, and at least something has been recognized, our profession has been recognized, and it went to become #1, like most read article for almost 7 days in Economic Times Health World. And so it is just the beginning, not the end. The one who works with an hand is a craftsman, with the mind is a scientist, with the heart is an artist, but one who works with the hand, mind, and heart is an embryologist. So negative. We don't like it, we avoid, but positive likes us, we can't avoid. So happy World Embryologist Day to all of you. And my teachers are here, my colleagues are here, my juniors are here. So happy to see you all. And I wish you a very happy World Embryologist Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanket, for that wonderful talk. Is Gaurav here?
No, he is not there yet.
Okay, then. Sanket, you really put it nicely about the work we do and give it in a nutshell of what we feel and we do, not just what we do. I think being an embryologist is a feeling as well. It's not just working monotonously with your pipettes and needles and you're under the microscope. It's a feeling, I guess. You need to, as I tell my juniors, it's not just a job, it's a responsibility. Come what may, you might have to be there in the lab when you have jobs. So it's a huge responsibility that we are taking. I don't think any one of us have gone ahead and had a Diwali free or a New Year free. We are always in the lab. We are always in the lab, at least for half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, whichever. So I guess it's beautifully put, Sanket, and thank you so much for the same. And I hand over the session to the conveners again.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sanket, for that lovely talk and the lovely summing up of the things. And if we proceed to the next part of the session, do we have Dr. Rahul over here? Rahul Sen.
Akash is busy in
I think, so we'll be carrying on our next part. We have tried to organize a small quiz with us.
Can we do one thing before we start?
Yes,
we can
yes,
the ACE newsletter. Can we call Dr. Rajvi Mehta, Dr. Sanika, Dr. Sujata?
Yes, sir. Huh? Rajvi ma'am, Dr. Sujata ma'am, and Shukla sir. If you can please turn on your camera.
Sure.
We have all been waiting for our newsletter. Lots and lots of hard work goes behind the screen to what we see as a finished picture just on the screen. And please, ma'am, you can take on from here.
Yeah, so we are happy to release our next newsletter on this very, very important and I would say a very, very emotional day. It is on this day that we sort of appreciate ourselves. And this newsletter is purely a creation by the embryologist, and embryologists don't just create life, but they're also creative in many other fields. So this is the first page down the cover. The artwork has been done by a very, very young embryologist from Pune, Ashwini Shinde, and you can see the artwork. We have contributions from people Sanket, Rahul have put in. They've been one of the pillars of this newsletters. They've contributed articles. We have tried to summarize. I must say that time, our contributions in the world of science, international science, has improved over the decades. So from a time where we used to be a large contingent in European Society of Human Reproduction and Embryology, as audience, in this ASHRAE, we have found that there were at least 150 abstracts, oral and poster. So we have, not with great any intention, summarized a few of those abstracts, primarily relating to embryology. So I'm very, very happy, and I would like to invite all the embryologists to contribute. And it need not be science. We have the science journals for science, but to put in your views, your opinions, and also your creative talent. So if you can scroll down the newsletter, we have, of course, messages from president, secretary, the editorial, the very interesting article by Sanket on the Y chromosome. Strongly recommend everybody to read it, well written. And as we go down further, we have this law has been the hottest topic of discussion for the last 6 months. And here Rahul has put the embryology, nice play of words. So surely you'll enjoy it as we go down further. So here he's put all the timelines, how the act came in. So you can see like we are putting our mind and soul in everything, including the laws that are going to govern us. As we can scroll down further, there are news alerts, things that concern us. So today we are in an information age. We have so much of information, no time to see through it. So here we have information on that. The Indians at ESHRE coming in. So, and finally, we go down and so all these, as you can see, summarized of some of these, some new innovations. This is something which is going to be quite innovative. Imagine doing ICSI with a single micro manipulator. So I'm sure you'll all be looking forward to reading it. And then, of course, the activities done by ACE. Please scroll down further. And then the creativity. So we have Dr. Bindu Chibote from Nagpur, who's written a poetry on Garbha Sanskar. So, and with this, we have Ved Prakash inviting all of us, Ved and Gaurav inviting us to ACE 2022. So I request all my fellow embryologists to do read it, contribute to it. And I wish to thank Sanjay, Rahul and Sanket for their support in getting this newsletter out. And thank you, Ved, for giving us this responsibility and an opportunity, I would say.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We have Dr. Ashwini over here, Ashwini Sindhi, embryologist. Can we call her, or Dr. Bindu Chumete? If
Ashwini is not here. I think Bindu is also not here. I can't see them in the. So they're not here. Yeah, we can.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So please do read it and send us your feedback.
Yeah.
Okay, over to you, Ved. Over to the conveners.
So thank you so much, Tajvi ma'am. And
yeah, there are few videos with us, but I think someone is some people like Dr. Saroj is there, and some more people are here from EC. So they can, if they want to say something about, want to send some messages, they can speak.
Good evening, sir. Saroj here.
Yeah.
I hope you can hear me.
Yes, yes, please.
A very happy Embryologist Day to everyone. I would say that as we all know, embryologists are the backbone of an IVF center. But embryologists have been in the shadows for long. When I started embryology, I don't think there were a lot of embryologists out there, but we should be thankful to ACE. It has been instrumental in bringing the embryologists in the forefront. And here we are sitting confident, kind of, having a conversation with our clinical counterparts or a fellow embryologist. And I think this is possible because of ACE. ACE has brought all the embryologists together on a platform where we are not scared now. We are confident enough to discuss any errors or any, positive or negative information. So I would really, really love to thank ACE here. Am I audible? Because I can't hear.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Dr. Ravi, you want to say something? Dr. Ravi? Or Dipti is here. Dipti, you can speak now. Then okay, we can start our quiz program. It's okay.
Dr. Vaser, my voice is not well. I could not able to speak.
Okay. No issue.
But anyhow, thanks to the ACE, which has made everyone to recognize this occasion, and congratulate everyone for their contribution, for the development and achieving such a height to recognize.
We can't hear you, Doctor.
Did you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yeah, now we can hear you.
I think we'll continue with the program. We're already getting late. So can we have slides for the quiz? So quickly, I'll call out the names for the quiz teams. The names and there are 10 teams for today, and Imran, Apurva, and Anil and is one team. Akanksha, Arshia, and Sanya, one team. And Beena, Vaishnavi, Ramya goes for one team. And Rupini, Shreya forms a team. And Jasita and Leroy for one team. And Ram Amar will be a team. And Ananta Lakshmi, Savarnika, and Mega will be a team. Karan, Sonu, Chaital Ben will be a team. And last two team is Mayuri, Jayashree, and Janavi. Will be a team, and Devika, Ramya, and Niveta will be one team. So guys, just a quick housekeeping rule. So only a team leader will be submitting an answer, and we have 20 questions with us, and starting we'll display a question for 15 seconds, followed by you will get options on your screen. So quickly you have to submit it. So it is like fastest finger. Whoever is submitting, although you're submitting a right answer, the one who submits the first, will get a point for that particular question. So are we clear? Already this has been discussed in yesterday's dry run. So without much further delay, we'll continue with the first question. So first question for today's quiz will be, identify the chemical which has a below structure. And the 10 seconds will be getting options on screen. You have to submit it. Just see, identify the chemical. Yeah. Here goes the options. You have 30 seconds left to submit an answer. You have to submit electronically, not in the chat box.
It's not a request not to put in the chat box the answers.
I think the time is up for first question. So let's move on to second question. Akash, can you take the second question?
Yes.
Sir, we need to discuss the answers.
Yeah, the answer. Yeah. The answer will be herpes. So in the poll, we can see 64% of the people have answered it rightly. That is herpes, and 23% went for MOPS, and remaining 9 and 5% went for PBS and albumin. So the right answer is herpes. Let's see who has submitted the answer at first. Yeah. Next, can we have second question?
Next question. So we move on to the second question. We usually see the live births. So this question is about the first live births which are recorded from a cryopreserved ovarian mammalian oocyte. Please see that it's cryopreserved ovulated mammalian oocyte. Options are, next slide please. You can see you can start answering 1952 in rabbit, the year, and 1977 in mice, 1965 in rabbit, or 1965 in bovine. It's 15 seconds are up. Actually, all of us can play along. Even the other participants, they can see what they are answering. So we'll get a better idea what people think along. The time is up. And we had the maximum answers for B, 1977 in mice, and which happens to be the correct answer as well. So congratulations to all of you who have got it right. Can we have the next question, please? Dr. Sanket, you can take the next question.
Yeah, well, coming to question 3. So look at the question carefully. Authors credited for getting the due credit recognized for the genius of Dr. Subhash Mukherjee, the pioneer of IVF in India. Options are Sunit Mukhopadhyay, Sadhan Kumar De, Sadhan Kumar De, Namita Mukherjee and Anand Kumar. Sadhan Kumar De, Sunit Mukhopadhyay and TC Anand Kumar. BN Chakrabarti and Sadhan Kumar De and Namita Mukherjee. Authors, okay. Be careful while answering. The poll is going as expected. Right. Most of them have chosen option D, but the right answer would be Sadhan Kumar De, Sunit Mukhopadhyay, and TC Anand Kumar. Because TC Anand Kumar sir was the first to put up a scientific writing on the achievements of Dr. Subhash Mukherjee, and we have Sadhan Kumar De and Sunit Mukhopadhyay writing a beautiful book, that is Two Beautiful Minds on Subhash Mukherjee. So it will be a third option. C is the right answer. Yeah, going to the next question. Can we have next question, please? So regarding the sperm length in the animal kingdom, which species has the smallest and the longest sperms respectively? Smallest and the longest in the animal kingdom. Okay. The options are whale and elephant, fruit fly and porcupine, porcupine and fruit fly, elephant and whale. The smallest and the largest. See the animal, just try to guess just give a random guess on the sperm size. Again, the poll is going as expected. Well, most of them have answered it as, I think fruit fly, porcupine, fruit fly, there was a tie, but the right answer would be porcupine and fruit fly, because porcupine has the smallest sperm, and fruit fly has almost, say, species like called as Drosophila bifurca has almost 4.5 to 5 centimeters of length, spermatozoa of length. So the right answer would be porcupine and fruit fly. Next, Dr. Akash.
Thank you. So I think we got a quite wide open opinions about the last one, where we had a wide variety of this. And the next question would be regarding the semen. We see that they have a lot of antioxidants. So which is the one which is present in most abundant in physiologically? So naturally present in antioxidant in semen. Can we have the options? So you have the 5 options. You can start answering, please. A, retinol, vitamin A. B is glutathione reductase, a very important enzyme again. C, ascorbic acid, again very important. D, superoxide dismutase, very important enzyme, probably the one with the most powerful reductase property. E, peroxidase as well. So we are seeing the options going wide open. It's a competition between the last 3 as of now. So I think we have a variety of answers, and the maximum has gone to ascorbic acid and superoxide dismutase. The correct answer is C, ascorbic acid, which stands for vitamin C. Vitamin C is usually concentrated in the semen, so that its concentration goes more than 5 to 10 times of what it is present in the serum of the human beings. So it plays a very important role. Vitamin C along with vitamin E are the 2 most important naturally occurring antioxidants present in the semen. Superoxide dismutase and glutathione reductase do have a role to play over there as the reducing enzymes over there. Peroxidase, on the other hand, would be antithesis for that. It would be exactly opposite of it. So that's what just put to confuse to give the options. So the correct answer is C, ascorbic acid. So we can move to the next question. So at what stage does zygotic genome activation occur? A straightforward question with probably straightforward answers. At what stage does the zygotic genome activation occurs? So the options are 6 to 8 cell in humans. B is 2 to 4 cell for mice. Option C is both the above are correct. option D is both are wrong. So be careful, the cell range is given. So what is the most appropriate answer for this can be selected. Most of us know what it is in humans, but mice also are the, they're the guinea pigs from which we learn all the things. So we have the answer as both. In human beings, it is well known that usually post the third cycle starts, cell cycle starts, compaction begins to happen. And it is at that stage that the zygotic genome activation begins to happen in the human beings. But in mice, usually it starts after the 2-cell stage. This is a stage when compaction begins to happen and blastocyst formation happen. And unlike humans, mice have quite a high blastocyst formation rate. And that's what we even use for our mice embryo assay, MEA, where the blastocyst formation of the mice is taken into account. And the products, be it culture media or disposables, are graded against both. So zygotic genome activation occurs at 6 to 8 cell in humans and post 2-cell stage in the mice one. So Sanket, if you can take the next question.
Yeah. Can we have 7th question? So which is the most common trisomy seen in a newborn child? Which is the most common trisomy seen in a newborn child? The options are: option A, all trisomy conditions have equal incidence, trisomy 21, trisomy 16, trisomy 9, and superfemale trisomy triple X syndrome. So the question is about a newborn child, the most common trisomy that we get to see. Well, I think most of them have answered it rightly. It is trisomy 21, which is the most common trisomy that we get to see in the newborn child when compared to trisomy 21, 16, and other trisomies. So proceeding to next question, Prakash.
On genetic evaluation of the males, what is the most common result that we see when we evaluate a zoospermic male? What is the genetic evaluation result that comes as commonly? A, Y chromosomal microdeletion, YCMD. B, sex chromosomal aneuploidy, which is between the X and the Y chromosomes. C is 46XY. D is 46XX. So which is the normal female and normal male counterparts over there. So going on as expected, I guess. Like Dr. Sanket has said it. And the correct answer is 46XY. Majority of our participants have given it as YCMD. But if we can have the question, it says, what is the genetic pattern which we get on evaluating an azoospermic male? So most of the times when we evaluate, we find that there are no chromosomal anomaly, neither there is a Y chromosome microdeletion. So when we see the report, it actually is 46XY, which turns out to be normal report of karyotyping in most of the males. So the question was straightforward, but the question was a little twisted. The answers are a bit straightforward, but the question was a bit changed. We have not asked the most common abnormality. We have asked what is the most common result that we get. So the answer would be 46XY in this case. Next question, Dr. Sanket.
Yeah. So here goes the next question. So read the question very carefully. Which amongst the following is not an absolute indication for ICSI? Okay, not an absolute indication for ICSI. Options are, can we have options? Yeah. frozen thawed oocytes, PGT, IVM, and NOA, in vitro maturation and non-obstructive azoospermia. NO is leading, IVM is leading again. Yeah, nobody's choosing frozen thawed oocytes. More votes are going into option C and D. 35, 37, 32% for C and D. The right answer would be PGT. Dr. Akash, can you explain the reason?
Yeah, we had see all of these are indications for ICSI as such, but when we have seen what is not an absolute indication, to have it compulsorily. So when we say frozen thawed oocytes, so frozen thawed oocytes, obviously we can't do IVF because they have been done. That is the right choice. We would always obviously go ahead with ICSI. We'll come to the option B later. Option C, IVM, the procedure was IVF as such, that will be denuding them to a large extent and will be culturing them, and it would be very difficult to assess their maturity, and that's why they would be always ICSI would be done. Next would be non-obstructive azoospermia. This is specifically NO stands for non-obstructive azoospermia, which is a common acronym what we use in embryology. And in non-obstructive azoospermia, the sperms are so less in amount that IVF would not be possible. Conventional IVF would not be possible. That's why we have not included obstructive azoospermia over here. And when it comes to PGT, yes, till some time back, it was being said that for PGT also ICSI, you have to do always ICSI. We have many of the genetic labs which say that you only have to do ICSI for PGT. But now they have started to accept even your IVF embryos. It's not an absolute indication because the sperm DNA is quite different from your normal DNA, which is there in the embryos. It's highly condensed. So it usually does not undergo the multiplication cycles, the PCR cycles, what is there. So it does not decondense easily over there. So hence PGT can be safely done even in IVF embryos. Of course, the rider being that the genetic lab to which we send that, they should be quite confident about doing it. So we had a quite a varied option over here. Can we have the next question?
Yeah. Can we move to next question?
So next question again from physiology. Amongst the all small proteins in human beings, which is the most basic of basic protein? So when we say basic, it's not with respect to the pH in terms. We say the protein is more basic, more acidic. So this is the question what we mean, whether it is more basic or more acidic. So in terms of that, which is the most basic small protein in human beings? Can we have the options? So option A is hyaluronic acid, B, histones, C, protamines, D, heparin. So we have only two answers in the lead, hyaluronic acid and the histones, protamines catching up a bit. And we have heparin coming back slowly. So most basic protein in human beings. Yeah. And the right answer is I think the right answer for this has been highlighted histones. It would be protamines. Our evaluation will be based on that. Protamines are amongst the most basic of the proteins which are found in the human being. And they were incidentally discovered in the fish first. And they are so highly basic that they antagonize the action of heparin, which is one of the most acidic protein which is found. So protamines are the ones which we see which help in compaction, condensation of the sperm nuclei, and they are being replaced to a large extent in most of the mammalian sperm and almost to the extent of 85% in the human sperms as well. So the right answer would be protamines, and the judging
and also basically they're rich in lysine and arginine also.
Lysine and arginine, they are the amino acids which confer them this basic nature. Right, Dr. Sanketh. So the right answer is protamine. Can we move on to the next question, please? Which is the most common cause of aneuploidy in human embryos. What is the reason of aneuploidy? We see aneuploidy so commonly, not having 46 chromosomes in a human embryo. And the options are, you have A, meiosis 1, you have option B, meiosis 2, C, postmitotic errors, D, postzygotic genome activation errors. So meiosis has been divided into two parts, meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. As we all know, you have your postmitotic errors, which do happen quite frequently, and you have even postzygotic genome activation errors, which can happen post-compaction as well. So what is the most common cause for aneuploidy? And the right answer would be meiosis 1. So most common cause for aneuploidy is meiosis 1. All of these errors can lead to aneuploidy, especially the errors during meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. During the post-mitotic errors, they can also lead to aneuploidy, but they usually result in mosaicism. Similarly, post-zygotic genome activation errors also cause that. Among meiosis 1 is the non-disjunction of the chromosomes and the premature segregation. Sometimes it's happened, and inappropriate segregation of the chromosomes which happen, that is responsible for this meiotic errors as such. And meiosis 1 errors, obviously, we know that they happen more frequently in the oocyte when compared to the sperm, the mature sperm. So meiosis 1 is the right answer, and which was identified correctly for a majority of them. So can we have the next question? Sanket, if you can take it.
Yeah. So the next question would be on varicocele. So varicocele can lead to infertility through all of these mechanisms except. So please read the question carefully. Varicocele can lead to the infertility through all of these mechanisms except. So the options are, option 1 is increased ROS, option B is low DFI, option C is a low count, and option D is low motility. Varicocele and infertility. Option A and B are leading with maximum votes. C is slightly picking up.
Commonly seen problems in many infertile males.
Hopefully there will be a tie between A and B. Well,
almost certain.
The right answer would be low DFI.
Sanket, if you can explain how it would be.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, you can please go ahead. How it would be low DFI.
Because see, we asked something question like here as varicocele, right? So the moment varicocele comes, we always think that it always tend to increase the DFI. But here the options are given very carefully. ROS yes, but low count yes, but low motility yes. But what about DFI? The moment we see low DFI, high the people tend to think that it is high DFI, and they don't try to answer. They don't try to choose this option. But the right answer would be low DFI.
The moment we think of varicocele, we think DFI is a contributing factor. Yeah, but that's high DFI, not low DFI. Low DFI would be towards fertility rather infertility.
So, going to next question, question number 13. Well, Max does not seem to select a sperm based on Max magnetic activity cell sorting does not select a sperm based on. Options are option A, apoptosis, option B, DFI, option C, morphology, and option D, cell surface receptors. Apoptosis, Max, DFI, morphology, receptors, cell surface receptors. Maximum people were voting for A and C. Yeah, the right answer would be morphology. because max is always based on a principle that it goes with apoptosis and it reduces DFI and cell surface receptors also, yes, but it does not select. The question was which is not included, then the answer would be morphology. So that is not the criteria for max. So the right option would be morphology.
Because max selects based only and only on cell surface receptors, and it actually selects for apoptosis. The cells which are apoptotic are being removed, and that is a way how a DFI also gets reduced, because cells which are having apoptosis obviously have the sperm cells would have a higher DFI. So that's how they get removed, and morphology per se they would not select, and it would be only if we combine it with density gradient, then max would do that. But we had asked only for max, then definitely they don't select for morphology as such.
So well, moving on to next question. Question number 14. Dr. Prakash.
Which of the following sperm preparation method does not tend to increase ROS? So ROS would be there. So the sperm preparation method which does not tend to increase ROS when compared to the neat unprocessed semen samples. And the options are A, your first step of double density gradient method. B, your second step of density gradient method. C is swim up. D is swim down. E is both C and D.
That is something
we have
to
swim
do.
Up in the leading, and both C and D as the leading option.
It has got something to do with the centrifugation.
And we have swim up and both C and D as the leading options. And the right answer would be both C and D. And like rightly said by Dr. Sanket, it's a centrifugation which can tend to increase. See, your density gradient as such will lead to a decrease in ROS. But if the centrifugation speeds and times exceed the limit, then in that case, your ROS will tend to increase. And when you do a swim up and swim down, you are allowing the sperm's natural ability to come out of the semen over there, what they would do in natural physiological conditions over there. And thereby we are allowing them that to be done. And the ROS levels are found to be quite low in this. One more thing what we can appreciate is, normally when we do a centrifugation, we are doing for density gradient and wash at the level of 300 G or 600 Gs at the most. So, but this itself is a huge number, 300 and 600 Gs. When they go for the pilot or astronauts training, they'll usually have a knockout at 5 to 10 Gs itself. So we are subjecting the sperms to something non-physiological as high as 300 to 600 Gs, and still they perform well. So rather than not performing well, we should appreciate that how sturdy these cells are and how much they can bear the G forces while compared to the entire human beings. So the right answer for this one was both swim up and swim down, where we don't use the centrifugation forces at all. So next question. So we have stem cells so much in talk, miracle, they are being said. So we are talking about a specific population of stem cells, which is the embryonic stem cell. So one of the qualities of embryonic stem cell is, options would be A, with respect to their potency, whether they are pluripotent, B, totipotent, C, multipotent, D, unipotent. So with respect to their potency, what is it? We have A and B, which are leading. So stem cells can be anything. They could be unipotent, single lineage, multipotent, multiple lineages, totipotent, where they can give rise to an entire organism, or a pluripotent, where they can give rise to different cell lines, multiple different cell lines. And the right answer is totipotent, where embryonic stem cells have the capacity to give rise to almost entire organisms. The more de-differentiated they are, the more the chances they become a good totipotent stem cells. And this has far-reaching consequences. The potentials of these have still not been unfolded, and we are not using it still. And the discovery was so important that it was made way back, I think in 1960s somewhere, where it was told that you can get a totipotency or induce something called as pluripotency from your normal cells. And this was recognized as way back as last year, few years back, where they were awarded a Nobel Prize. So it's such an important discovery in medicine and physiology, where I think Yamanaka was the one and Dr. John was the other one who was awarded this Nobel Prize for discovering that induced pluripotency, where they don't have to wait to search for the stem cells. They can get it from any of the adult cells, and they can program them to have dedifferentiation and go back to stem cells. So the right answer is totipotent. And can we have the next question, please?
Yes, well, rightly mentioned by Dr. Akash. Yeah, it was for induced pluripotency, for which they were awarded Nobel Prize in the year 2007. And well, moving on to the next question. Question number 16. So the next question would be, which was achieved first? So there will be options, and you have to carefully go through the options, and you should mark whichever is achieved, whichever is achieved first. Options are human birth from vitrified oocytes, and B is human birth from vitrified blastocysts, and C, both occurred in the same year, and D, not applicable. So B and C are going in a slightly different manner. I mean, most of the people are voting for B and C. B is picking up again. So the right answer would be human birth from the vitrified oocytes. Yeah, the moment it is quite common, the moment we think about oocytes, we always think that it has been, the vitrification has come much later when compared to day 3 and blastocyst stage embryos. But actually, the first birth was from the vitrified oocyte was human oocytes was documented in the year 1999 by Kuleshova et al. And group. But whereas the human first birth from the vitrified human blastocysts was in the year 2001, just 2 years later. So the right answer would be human birth from the vitrified oocytes. Well, going to the yes, Dr. Akash.
No, I just wanted to add that blastocyst, what we take for granted, like a blastocyst culture, not take for granted, but it's the one what we try to achieve, which is so commonly practiced across by all of us embryologists. What we try to achieve, we can see that it is so recent in development, and so game-changing it is, the blastocyst culture and using it, that vitrification has been developed prior to it, a long science cryopreservation, but blastocyst development a very recent of origin.
Well, moving on to the next question, question number 17. So it would be about TESE. So the first human TESE was reported in the year, first human TESE. The options are 1977, 1992, 1993, and 1997. So we all know that ICSI was invented in the year 1992. And the question is about TESE. Most of the people are answering for B and D, and also C. Yeah, here the poll gets ended. So yeah, the moment we think about TESE, we think it is very much later, right? That is the reason maybe probably a lot of people have answered the option D, but the right answer would be 1993. Immediately after the invention of ICSI, the followed year, they performed a first TESE, that is in the year 1993. So, well, going to the next question, question number 18.
Yeah. This is a question with respect to the new ART law as a years. In a donor egg cycle, which of the following is not required? It is not required. Okay, so in a donor egg cycle, which of the following is not required according to hierarchy law, which has come into force? And the options are A, couple have to sign an affidavit before a registry. B, you have to take preference for the donor for 1 year from the date of egg pickup. C would be you can retrieve a maximum number of oocytes. D is the donor has to sign an affidavit in front of the magistrate. So we have two options with affidavits being signed, one for the insurance of the donor and one for the 7 oocytes maximum. So neck to neck between C and D options, between 7 oocytes to be retrieved and donor affidavit to be signed by the magistrate. And A and B lagging behind, and the maximum options with C and D. The right answer would be this case. So, which is a donor to sign the affidavit in front of the magistrate. So our options for commissioning couple have to sign the affidavit in front of a magistrate. That is what is there according to the new law. They have to be there.
I think his network is gone.
Technical glitch. Yeah, sorry for the technical glitch. Yeah, and their maximum is 7 is the number which they have said. That is what is you can retrieve from a donor. How do you do that? That's open $1 million question. Like how you are going to adjust to the number 7, how it's going to happen, that no one knows. And obviously, you have to insure the donor till 1 year from the date of egg pickup. So that's a compulsory. It has to be done by the commissioning couple, but they have to insure the donor for that. So the right option would be option D over here.
Well, guys, moving on to last 2 questions. Question number 19 goes here. So culture of human embryos is allowed for a maximum of how many days? So culture of human embryos in vitro is allowed for maximum how many days? Options would be option A 7 days, option B 14 days, option C 18 days, option D 21 days. This is with respect to in vitro culture of human embryos. A and B are going in a high phase. The maximum also going for A and B. Hardly people are selecting C and D. Yeah, and the right answer would be B 14 days, which was decided in the year 2008 with the scientific community based on with respect to stem cell. They have decided to culture them to 14 days only for research purposes, not for other things. And as of now, that is the highest period what we can culture the embryos in vitro. And last year or before last year, there were discussions of extending the period, but the things didn't go well. There was a lot of resistance from many countries. That's the reason they've still stuck to the 14 days time period.
Yeah, and there's a reason why they want to stick with the 14 days time period. If I can add, like
the primitive sticking, because the primitive stick is going to form the followed week. So most of the countries think that is not ethical or it must not be allowed. For that reasons, it has been put on hold.
Yeah, your nervous system forms, and that's when they can begin to feel the pain, and again your stem cells went to put an end to it. And there has been a huge debate, I think, where HFEA wanted to extend it. Obviously, the scientific community wanted to go for it, but there was resistance from other people, and they finally voted that it would not happen. And I think there are moral issues, legal issues, ethical issues considered around it, like Dr. Sanket had said, and they are the better persons to judge for this sometimes.
So we'll be taking a last question now, and remaining questions we'll be keeping it for in case if there is any tie, we'll use them as a tiebreaker. And so here goes the last question. Can we have the last question?
What are the units which are most commonly used to determine the optimal concentration of culture media for human embryos? We have used most commonly used units for concentration of culture media. How do it is expressed, in what units the concentration is expressed. So straightforward questions, what we read on the culture media on a daily basis, it would be there in the sheet which is attached. Option A would be osmolarity. Option B would be osmolality. Option C would be both. Option D would be none. We don't require to express them at all. Osmolarity, osmolality, both, none. So we have a winner in terms of options, in terms of osmolarity as the answer, the one what we commonly see. But the right answer would be osmolality. Yes, osmolarity and osmolality are both used as a units for expressing the concentration. Osmolarity, whereas it is in millimoles or moles per liter in terms of volume. Osmolality is milliosmoles per kg. And for most of our culture media, whenever we see, we tell that it says so and so milliosmoles. Most physiological is in the range of around 255 to 60 milliosmoles to 290 milliosmoles per kg. And one of the reasons why probably osmolality is used is its variation with temperature is less. The weight will not fluctuate with respect to your temperature. It is expressed in milliosmoles per kg. So if there's a temperature change, so your osmolality would not change. But whereas for osmolarity, the solvent which is there, which is water in this case, it will undergo contraction and expansion, though a minute level, but yes, still osmolarity would change to a certain extent with temperature, and osmolality would not change. So that's my assumption why it is preferred. Osmolality is the preferred unit for having the culture concentration, culture media concentration over here. So that brings us to an end to the quiz. So I hope all of you have answered quite well. We have tried to put forward some simple questions, and what we try to do is we and Dr. Sanket have tried to put a few questions about history over here, because we are here because of what our predecessors in our field have done, what our seniors have done, starting with the first and foremost, obviously, Sir Robert Edwards, and along Jean Purdy and Patrick Steptoe, followed by all the pioneers in the field, and not anything lesser, Dr. Subhash Mukhopadhyaya. And I might be taking a couple of minutes. I want to thank A.S. Ved sir and my co-quiz master, Dr. Sanket. And it's really a passionate thing. The moment you say Embryologist Day, it is something like we feel there's one day in which we can celebrate for ourselves. It's a profession which gives us bread and butter. And all have been outlined quite well by our seniors. But I think what I would like to add from my end is there's a passion which we could see in the writing of Dr. Sanket as well. The passion, if it is there, we cannot go wrong, neither in ethical grounds and legal grounds. So we should keep the passion and the fire burning. And it was quite good, quite happy to see that once we have opened the quiz, we are thinking what kind of response you would get. We are trying to organize something on an online platform. And it was really surprising that all the slots got booked within few hours of the flyer being released. So that's the passion which we need to keep up. Yeah.
And we almost received around 35 teams. So which were unfortunately we had reasons to include all. And that's the reason we went for only 10 teams. Is Dr. Akash.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So we'll be getting the results of this quiz in 10 to 15 minutes. They'll require some time to compile the results.
Dr. Akash, we have judges here.
We'll be inviting the judges.
Dr. Sanjay Shukla sir and Dr. Alex Varghese sir and Dr. Vasha Sanjay madam. And due to some reasons, Alex sir is in Auckland now. So because of time differences, he could not join the meeting. So he conveyed the wishes to all of us. And Shukla sir is here. I sincerely request to Shukla sir wait for 20 minutes of time, because the technical team need around 15 to 20 minutes to analyze the results. So post Janta Darbar will be announcing the results. Is it okay, sir? Sir, anything you want to say about the quiz?
Can we go back to one of the slides regarding the trisomies?
That is question number.
So there has been a question in the chat box also. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so it requires little clarification.
Yes, sir.
Question number, Chitra, question number is 7.
Okay, sir.
The question was, what is the most common trisomy seen in a newborn infant? So the question was like with respect to what is the most common trisomy seen in the newborn infant?
Yeah, so the question is self-explanatory, and the objection raised by one of the audience is that it is the trisomy 16 which is the most common. But we know that the most of the trisomy 16s, they don't result in the live birth or the full term. So it is the trisomy 21 which is most common. It may be the occurrence of trisomy 16 which is most common in the conceptions, but not the newborn infants.
Yes, sir. Sir, rightly said. That's the reason why we had just changed the questions, and that's the right answer, as had been said by you. That's the reason, because trisomy 16 is the most common abnormality which is seen in aborted human embryos. So that is the most common. Rightly said, it is the most common abnormality seen in POCs. 16 followed by chromosome 9, if I'm not wrong. That is the second one, which is the most common, which is present. But they don't extend till term, as has been said in the chat box by one of the participants. Yes, it don't go till term. So obviously most of them don't result in a live born child. And as been said by sir, that's the reason why the right answer would be trisomy 21. Occurrence of roughly 1 in 1,000 to 1,200 of that.
Yeah. One more objection raised by Sanya. See, Sanya, the question was not, which is not an absolute indication. It was not about absolute indication. Okay. That's why you should read the question properly. It was, which was not an absolute indication. Okay. That's the clarity for that. And sir, can we wait till the post this thing, Janata gets, so that we can announce the winners?
We can.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Meanwhile, so much, we can invite our other colleagues from the executive committee, like Dr. Shrikant. If he wants to express.
Next,
Charu sir is here. Charu sir or Shrikant sir.
Yeah, Dr. Shrikant was there. Dr. Priya Silvaraj was there. Charudat ji is here.
Hello, good evening, everyone. With your kind permission, sir, can I speak something about on this day of embryologists?
Please, sir.
Okay, so first of all, on behalf of ACE and from my side, I would like to congratulate all my near and dear colleagues and friends, embryologists, and it is really time for us to celebrate because embryologist as an identity has been established now, and people are aware about embryology as a subject and embryologist also. And that is why now we are seeing that many people, many newcomers are coming up and they are opting for embryology as a profession. And on best part of it is, just now I had an interaction with one ICICI Bank guy, and he told me that embryology is now also incorporated as one of the professions, which was not there 10 years back. So particularly as far as this embryology is concerned, we should feel very happy, and there is no reason why we should not celebrate, because now it is a very, very well established and recognized fact that we are the backbones of any infertility setup, or we are one of the main important part of this team which is working for an IVF unit. So again, once again on this Embryologist Day, World Embryologist Day, I would like to congratulate everyone and be happy doing embryology passionately. And particularly to Akash and Sanket, I would like to say that this is really a very nice initiative, this quiz. Very honestly speaking, I was also not aware of many of the questions. And means that for that you can consider me, because I am now in the old generation. But the new people who have come up and they have answered it, and you have designed such a nice quiz. So I think this kind of things will give boost up to young embryologists coming up, and AS is always in favor of providing a platform for them to come forward and see. So once again, I would like to request, we have very eminent scientific advisors with us. They can put their research or any kind of study which they have done and they want to get it in the platform, they can always use this platform and do it. So once again, thank you all, and have a very happy Embryologist Day.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the kind words as well to us. And we know that you would have mostly answered the right ones, and to encourage us, you say such words.
No, yeah, really, this is a fact. Few of them I was not aware of. Really, I was not aware of, and that's a good thing that I am really waiting for the real answers to come and get myself updated. So
thank you so much. Thank you, sir. And Dr. Varsha Jain, Deepthi, Shrikant sir, Priya Selvaraj ma'am, quickly, we are getting late. Can you quickly speak a few words? Hello.
Okay, Sanket.
By the way, Sanket, I would like to mention here that we in Indore Embryologist group is going to meet very soon and enjoying by cake cutting and having a party. It is scheduled for 8 o'clock.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So we have to hurry, sir.
Yes. So without taking much.
Charu.
Yes.
You are there in Indore. I am not there in Indore, yaar.
So come down.
Okay. You should call me, na.
Can we start next session?
Okay. Now, no, if there are nobody speaking, actually, so many are logged in. Actually, why don't you, Sanket, ask all this? Request because our conference is coming up to submit abstract. Okay. Which is very important, because I don't know how many abstract we have got. We left it to another 1 and 2 months actually. Okay, you we need to get the registration part is not done. So this is the platform now. Actually, you can ask them to get registered and send the abstract also.
Yes, sir. As rightly said by you, sir, guys, the channels are open to submit your abstracts for ACE 2022, both for oral as well as poster presentations. And the registration portal is also open. You can get registered. 31st July is the last date for early bird registration. After that, you'll be paying extra. So be cautious about it. And so, yeah, without much further delay, let's move on to the Janta Darbar, handing over the session to Dr. Akash and Dr. Rahul. Dr. Akash, can you just brief up the Janta Darbar thing?
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Sir. Yeah. So we have conducted a quiz which was more of a scientific thing, more of technical questions over here, where we have invited few teams, and we have kept a name as Janta Darbar because it's open for all. It's an opinion poll where we request all of you, please do take part in the poll. These are common situations, what we see in what we speak of. I wouldn't say controversy, but the different options what we take off at this stage, where there's not absolute one right answer for it. So I would request all of you to participate in this and put in your views and options of what is being actually practiced and what your views are. That helps us to know the book and chapters. Absolutely, they say the right thing. I'm not saying that they say the wrong thing. But at the end of the day, we have to even see how much is the user friendliness of the options that we are practicing and what we are practicing. So this is made with that thing in mind. So Dr. Rahul, I think we'll start with this.
Yes. Akash, about
Akash, and we'd like to invite our judges.
Oh, okay. You'll be sharing the slides.
So judges, Dr. Srinivas sir with us, and Swaminathan sir with us, and Dr. Charudat Joshi sir with us. So yes, guys, over to you.
Yeah. So we'll be going to the questions. Sirs, you can obviously, needless to say, you can jump in at any time. Anything you want to add, correct anything over there for each of the questions, you can please let us know. So we'll be starting with the questions.
For starting, can I say something? We have to open poll for everyone, no?
Yes, it will be open for everyone, sir. It will be displayed on
Anybody
everyone's
can
screen.
answer, sir. Anybody
All
can
can
answer.
answer.
Only percentages will be displayed.
Can you please allow everyone to poll?
Yes, sir.
Shall we start the first question, sir?
Yeah, it's a Janta Darbar opinion poll, and names will not be displayed against the options. So please take part, all of you. Yeah, first question, please. So, what is your preference with regard to the culture media? Can we have the options?
Shall I speak?
What decides? Yes, sure, sir. Please, sir.
Okay. No, this is not the, no, I will not say my preference of media. Okay. If I go by my experience, I used to prepare my own media. Today, there are plenty of companies have come up with, well-designed medium where you can take the embryo up to blastocyst stage. Okay. See, if you say here, no, okay, you have given an option here. You want me to answer in the option, no?
No, this is like for
it's
everyone.
just a poll kind of thing.
Poll, sir. Public poll, sir.
Okay.
Sir, and what you have said definitely matters, sir. We want that kind of feedback from the judges, what they feel about it.
That's what.
Srinivasa's answer was arbitrary selection. It should be
which culture? No, let me. Which culture media do you prefer? Okay, in this case, if you ask me, single-step culture media.
Okay.
Sir, Srinivas, sir, if you can share your views, how you were doing the media.
That is what I wanted to tell actually. See, that's what, no, I used to prepare my own media, check pH, osmolarity, phosmolarity is not good, try to adjust, and if it is drastically changed, throw it once again, prepare it. It's a big system, you used to have it, millipore system, all these things. Then after that, you do sperm motility, biopsy, then add a maternal serum. All those days are gone now. Ready-made mediums are available now. These are all based on the research work which is done in the research lab. And it is being tried actually, and we have been getting in a good result also, there's no doubt. But still it is, we call it as a suboptimal medium, because blastocyst rate is going to be up to 48 to 50% only. But at this juncture, I think I will go with a single-step culture medium.
Swami sir and Charu sir, if you have, sir, if you have any comments on this poll
and the options as well.
Dear friends.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I will come in. So
yes,
boring, so long I was sitting. Okay. So the thing is, we have the best system, so one should know how to use it. There is nothing wrong in using sequential or single. It's depending upon your culture system. Culture system is a very, very elaborate subject. We can't do it in Jamda Darbar and online. Okay. The whole week we can talk. That is different issue. So both the medias are, it's an evaluation of the system, entire system. We are always trying to get the best out of this. And remember that the IVF is market driven. The market decides, not you and me or the clinician. Remember that. The person who makes the sequential media making the single step media. Single step media usage is different. It is invented or it is designed for the embryoscope, okay, undisturbed culture. So one should know what media he is using. All the medias are same, depending upon that how to handle it. That is very, very important. You use any media. If you see most of the Cochrane reviews, it says one and the same, not much difference in all the aspects. That is my opinion.
Yes, rightly said by Swami sir that sequential media was introduced first, and later that single step media came into the market. Yes, Charu sir, yes, please.
I fully agree with Swami sir. This is all market driven strategy. Ultimately, as an embryologist, we need to see our working system and what suits us at our place, and that we can go ahead with that system. Maybe single step or maybe sequential, whatever it may be. Ultimately, goal is to get a consistent pregnancy rate. Till it is achieved, everything is fine.
See, I would like to interpret here, because So here they want to know what is your choice. Are you using a sequential culture medium, Charu? You say, I'm using sequential culture medium.
Yes,
They want to
yes. At few places I am using it. At few places it is single step only. And at both places I am very happy with the outcome of the media. Okay. So now as Swami sir said, it is market driven. I second it, and I am strongly favor this because this is all the marketing strategy. You see, one thing come immediately next day. Do you remember when laser started, poloscope started? So many things have been heard about that, and then ultimately it is out of market now. No one even talks about laser and poloscope. So it is ultimately the end user. For me, it is the end user for which you are comfortable. It's fine, perfectly all right. There should be no choice.
Charu sir, Charu sir, poloscope and the laser, they were different because if you see the cost of their investment,
sir,
cost of the investment, people are not ready even with the embryoscope. Embryoscope is also not in use in how many are there in India? And what is the ultimate outcome of those things?
Ravi sir, see, this is altogether a different thing. The cost, we are not talking about cost here. I am just saying what I want to say is, it is end user driven. If you have that capacity of getting a laser, there are people who are using laser today also. I know them. So it's very good. Sometimes if I find a chance to go there and see the laser, how it works, I will do. So it is ultimately the end user.
Can we have the next poll?
I think our time would end with this one question. So we just wanted to know what people are using, and it's good to know that cost is, no one has answered as cost as the main factor, and that is the way it has to be.
That is the
market run, it is not the main factor.
Yeah, IVF is set for cost affair, man.
Yes, sir. That's why we have put cost as the main factor, but no one has selected that as an answer.
IVF. If you want quality, forget about the cost. If you buy anything cheap, it is cheap. That's all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what, sir. So good to see that. Good to see that.
Yeah. So can we have the next poll, please? So for this poll, the question is, what is the best preferred method of insemination as per your conditions? Conventional IVF whenever possible, all ICSI, split IVF with ICSI for all, split IVF and ICSI whenever possible. So can we have updates from Srinivas, sir?
Okay, let me tell you honestly, because we should not have a split opinion here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I really want to go with indicated case. If it is conventional IVF, I would like to do IVF only. Okay, doesn't want to do ICSI, but it is not happening.
So sir, your
no, I'll tell you, it is happening all ICSI. I think it is the time to change now. After the guideline has come, if it is a good sample, okay, you do conventional IVF only, don't split. If you split means you don't have yourself a confidence. That's it. Because if you are going and working for somewhere else, actually you want to give a fertilization, clinician insists you to do it, you have to do it. But you don't have a right to do it. That's what. Okay. But what is happening now? All ICSI. This is what I wanted to tell.
I do IVF as and when it is indicated, only indicated case. I never do all ICSI. I never done.
If I am a freelance embryologist, I will do all ICSI.
No, if I am a freelance embryologist, I would prefer to do indicated cases IVF only. It is easy to do IVF.
I also worked as a freelance embryologist, but I always make it sure that even if I am doing IVF, I make it sure that I should stay there for 3 days. Okay, so
exactly,
it is absolutely,
that is very important.
It is absolutely indicated IVF only, and if not, then you can go for ICSI, but not all for ICSI.
Freelance embryologist doesn't mean that you just go for only injection. Then someone will inject you.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So as an embryologist, for example, a driver is driving a car, you can't give a control to brake to someone or accelerator to someone, steering to someone. So then you will meet with an accident. So that is very, very important. It's your responsibility. Being a senior, if you are doing freelancing, it doesn't mean that you will go to 10 centers in one day. Remember that freelancing doesn't mean that you will do multiple centers in the same day. You be there, you take in charge of that. Anyway, now the rules is changed. So we have to see that.
The final comments will be like IVF whenever possible in indicated cases, and ICSI again, it's only in indicated cases. So,
don't use only for these poll purposes. Practice it. That is very, very important.
No. That is why, Swami, I am asking, telling actually, people are all doing ICSI only. It is a time to change. It's a time to change. Because if an embryologist going to any IVF center as a freelancer, if the clinician tells you do ICSI, will you tell I will do only IVF, I will not do ICSI? That is the point. Actually, we will have to change them. Okay, I see this sample is all right. I cannot do ICSI. I will allow egg to select a spermatozoa. That is how you have to do it. Otherwise, the people just to have a business, madam, whatever you want, I will do it. There are people doing. This is the time to change ourselves. Forget it. Freelancing is disappearing now. Everybody is going to have their own in-house embryologist. This is the time to have an all embryologist responsible job and do what is needed, evidence-based. That is what is required now.
So you will basically an embryologist job is to fertilize the oocyte. Which method you are doing, that is up to you. That is your profession. You decide, you give the evidence. So you take in charge of that is the ultimate.
Nah, that is why, Swami, I will tell you, you will go one IVF center. Okay. Imagine you go IVF center. There are only 5 eggs, good motility, good morphology. I want only, she will tell only ICSI. Will you try to convince her, madam, it is good, I will be able to give a good fertilization, good embryo, good live birth also. I will promise you. You will see convince. That is what I am telling.
Yeah. So, Dr. Akash, can we move to the next poll?
Yeah, I think we obviously will have, that's the whole idea of this poll, to have the conflicting opinions, what is done and what is the most preferred. And next question is, what do you prefer for transfer? Again, a bit of controversial and various answers, whether you do ESET for all. And I request all of the participants, please participate. The last 2 questions, we had very less participation. First was 50%, second one has actually dropped. So we want to know what people are doing. See, what is right or wrong might be right for one's perspective, wrong for another perspective, but we want to know what people are actually doing. See, there might be things said in the textbook, but we want to know what people are actually doing. So please participate in this. So we come to know what is being done on ground reality. What do you prefer to transfer? Whether do you do elective single embryo transfer for all of them? Whether if you have moderate quality, then instead of 1, whether you would like to go in for 2 of them. And if you have no blastocyst, only day 3 you would like to prefer. And a rare case where, some centers, I don't know of, but earlier they used to do day 2 transfers, might be some centers rarely, or when there is poor embryo quality, day 2 transfer. So if more people can answer this, and sir, if you can have your opinions.
I would like to transfer day 3. I have been fighting with my clinicians always. I don't want to kill my embryos in vitro. I will prefer to do embryo transfer day 3 only, grade A, 2 embryos.
Right.
Because we have I do day 3. Single elected, we have not reached it.
Right.
Charu sir, in favor of comments in favor of blastocyst.
Yes, I was about to say basically it is mostly day 3 transfers only, 2 or maximum 3 embryos. But yes, if you have surplus embryos, then definitely it is advisable. You should culture them till blastocyst and select good blastocyst formed out of it and then transfer. But not for all, just doing culture till day 5 and then doing transfer. So I prefer day 3 transfer only, mostly day 3 transfer. But in case of high number of embryos, then you can go for a blastocyst, and that is also 1 blast. One good blast transfer, that is good enough.
I think we are old-fashioned embryologists. So the new generation wants only blastocyst. We can see in the FB. So it depends, one size doesn't fit in medicine. So we have to understand the concept and availability of the embryo. It is not the race. I have to create, only blastocyst. Even I can't understand why we have to put 2 blastocysts when we are going towards a single embryo transfer.
Exactly.
These are all, we should have scientific, knowledge more. And we try to, and most of the time the ET is decided by the clinician. So we work as only the agent who create the embryo and give it to them. So
And
that scenario also will change now.
Yes, and there are multiple factors involved. See, if you are transferring day 3, grade 1, very good quality embryo, still pregnancy is not there, then preferably second cycle, if it is done, I think that it is a good choice to give that culture till blastocyst, so that at least you come to know about the status of further development of that embryo, because you have transferred all grade 3, grade 1, 3 embryos, beautiful embryos, and still the conception is not there. So it is matter of choice, I suppose. Mostly day 3 transfer is good.
So I think we have the opinion where we are still day 3 transfer has definitely an important role to play. Yes, we can move towards blastocysts with surplus embryos, and that is only in case of surplus embryos. Like surplus would be the keyword over there. And he said, yes, we can strive to achieve towards it, but don't get too much carried away by seeing all the papers where they say, he said this is the result, so and so is the results, and see what best works in your lab. Yes, we have to strive towards, he said, there's no doubt about that. But in the meantime, we have to even look at the rates as well, what we're getting. Next question, if we can have some. So what is the best sperm preparation method for high DFI? Everyone speaks about high DFI, no conference nowadays, be it andrology or IVF, DFI would definitely be a part of it. And we speak so much about high DFI, and there are various sperm preparation methods. So what we want to know is whether in practice they have seen any difference with respect to using the different options of sperm preparation. Can we have the options? So we have 4 options like density gradient with swim up, microfluidics, max, or all of them work the same. Do all of them work the same?
I think all of them work same only. I think. Even yesterday
yes,
there was a paper about sumum and microfluidics, so they're not much different. So I think I always say that it's an evolution. We are searching for something. Until unless if you are not getting any real-time sperm analysis with the DFI, until unless we will be doing all these trial and errors.
In this case, the density gradient, if you use to some extent, I think you will be able to, because we have not come up with what is the threshold value of a DFI. If it is more than that, what could be done? We have not come up with a so paper actually, but going by density gradient, I think we'll be able to reduce some extent.
Density gradient still stands the golden one.
Absolutely.
Old is gold method.
Absolutely.
Gold.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Density gradient is the only method right now.
What I will do actually in my clinic, actually, I will ask him to give the same day only second sample.
So any comments related to advanced methods in terms of any indication where and when it can be used, like microfluidics and max? It's just a conflicting opinion.
I have not used max. I have not seen max. I have not seen microfluidics also. I am doing the age-old swim up and density gradient in some case. Swim up, density gradient, the gold standard. It will never change from the WHO manual, definitely.
Yeah, right, sir. We are still searching for that elusive method, elusive sperm, which gives us the results, right? So we'll move on to the next question. Next question, please. So what of the,
how much? Yeah.
You can go ahead.
Yeah. So again, this is a much needed topic that where the discussions can be done. So how much time do you prefer to have between the oocyte retrieval and ICSI, the time of injection? It's between 1 to 2 hours, 2 to 4 hours, sharply at 4 hours, or no difference with the timing? Yes, Charu sir, please, if you can start with this.
Yeah, I would prefer minimum 2 hours. 1 to 2 hours is the first choice. But sometimes, due to some technical reasons, like the sample collection is not there or something other thing happen. So maximum 4 hours, I think that is the time limit you can have. So ideally, I think it is maximum 2 hours, 1 to 2 hours. In special cases, you can wait till 4 hours because we know that after 40 hours post HCG, the maturational status of the oocyte changes, and probably that may not give you an fertilized outcome. So for me, it is 2 hours initially.
Srinivasa, yes.
I'll go by evidence based. Somebody who have done 1 hour after, 2 hour after, 3. No, sharply at 4 hours. That means if you have done egg pickup at 36 hours, it is said that evidence say that after you administer HCG 40 hours. Okay. Answer wise, it is sharply at 4 hours. Sharply at 4 hours, people done after 4 hours, people have done after 1 hour. Immediately after the pickup also have done. That is not right. So because we are here senior most, we'll have to tell them you have to pre-incubate the oocyte cumulus complex, which is very important. For oocyte to mature, when you retrieve pre-ovulatory, you might have a first polar body. You can say that is the M2 oocyte, but still for cytoplasmic maturity, you will have to keep it. That's the reason why paper says after HCG 40 hours.
Sir, if it's not XC, if it's IVF, then again you'll be sticking with the same timing of insemination.
No. So when you are with oocyte cumulus complex, if you want to do IVF, okay. Anyway, it is not like that. You can do it after 2 hours, 3 hours also, because you are not what you are doing. You are not denuding it. It is like an in vivo.
Yes.
So there, if you change here, it's okay, because you have a big different codes actually. Keeping them together for a long time, it is in fact it increases the fertilization. 8 hours, okay, it increases the when it comes to the ICSI, you remove the granulosa cells. When the granulosa cells you remove, you cannot do IVF. You have to perform ICSI. You have to keep the oocyte along with the granulosa cells for so many hours after oocyte cumulus complex is identified. That is what I see. Some extent, so whenever you try to remove, still some granulosa cells are attached. We perform, and there are few papers actually. It will assist the oocyte to mature further.
Swami sir, your comment? Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm coming. Seniority, by seniority will come. Yeah, basically in IVF, the oocyte selects the sperm. In ICSI, the embryologist select the oocyte as well as the sperm. This is the only difference. So the paper says in ICSI, you have to finish post HCG within 42 hours. So when you see your routine, you have to do the collection, clean the place, and make the sperm ready. All that thing, usually it will take 3 to 4 hours. So ideally, it goes like that. When you have multiple cases, you have to plan accordingly. We have to understand the biology. It is a micro environment. It is coming from the body. It has to adjust to our incubator environment. So all these things we have to keep in mind. So it has to come to the next level. It has to adjust to the external environment. So we usually, practically, it will take 3 to 4 hours. So going beyond that is not good. And some people, sometimes they will do denudation in the eclosion only. That is also not good. So remember that we are dealing with biology. Our raw material is biology. Remember that.
Yes, truly said by Swami sir. Yes, that the time is the most important aspect in IVF, laboratory aspects of IVF, starting from the deciding of trigger till the egg retrieval, and then doing the fertilization. So yes, in the most important aspect. So can we move to the next poll?
I think this was the one what is already answered, so we can just have the answers and move on to the next one. This is regarding OPU and IVF, what has already been discussed. So.
can we move to the next poll? Yes, Dr. Akash. Yeah, you can.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. Inform is just doing the same question previous one. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have a preference for polar body orientation?
No. Initially, when I started doing ICSI, I was very curious about, no, it should be like 12 o'clock or 6 o'clock. Okay. But what I feel actually, I should be away from the polar body.
Swami sir.
Yeah, we can usually we have to understand the oocyte biology. So we have to not damage the spindle fibers. So usually it will be placed next to the polar bodies. But the mechanical, how you are handling the oocyte is also different because it's moving. So you have the periosteal space, the movement of the polar body is possible. So as Srinivas said, you have to leave at least below 50%. You can take the cytoplasm and inject. But usually I usually keep 12 or 6 o'clock exactly.
Yes, Charu sir.
6 o'clock or 12 o'clock, that is what we are doing till now. I think these are the two most probable places when we are maximum away from the spindle. So it depends. Sometimes you see it is at 6 o'clock, it's much better. Sometimes it is 12 o'clock. So I would say 12 or 6. This is the best option. Akash, you are muted.
Yeah. As said, that it has to be at 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock. And what we like to bring out is sometimes they'll be super finicky where they'll be like, it has to be sharply like at the hands of the clock, seconds clock or something. And that's what we wanted to bring out, like how much we have to be in orientation and slight deviation, whether it's okay or not. Next
but
question.
Don't try to install a wall clock there.
Yes, sir. That's why they're installing the numbers over here.
Yeah, if you know the science and biology, obviously you never do mistakes. That's all.
Yes, so next is on the ART law. So what do you feel about the qualification of embryologist according to the new ART law? So you can feel free to answer whether you feel it's appropriate, or is it very high a bar in terms of experience and others, or is it too low a bar? Some people might feel the other way around, or obviously we have tried to include all the perspectives, and some people will be there like, it works for me, that's fine.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
See, any profession, one has to do it. There is some sort of an eligibility. Okay. Unfortunately, we don't know when the embryology profession was originated in India, because it is not comes under government sector. That would be the reason why this is not done. Now people are doing it now. Those days, all this ART is ruled by the private sector only. That is where all these things actually, lab technician, anesthetist, dentist, who else? Everybody started doing the embryology now. I know that, see, there is a time is going to come, then government those who are getting the information from the team, they will be able to run. Unfortunately, they have done only clinical embryology after AS, ISAR, IFS together went there actually, then they have included everything. But what I feel, it is not an embryology, any field for that matter actually, it is a responsible profession. There must be eligibility. Unfortunately, it was not there. Now many places, these courses are coming up, and they will do 1 year, 2 years course. That would be the appropriate, I tell. Okay.
This is very essential because so far now so much work has been done that you cannot ignore it. Okay, what has happened is happened. Year after, at least in future, if you want to have a good embryology profession, a responsible one, there must be a university course for this, whether it is a medical university or other universities. Course has to be done, proper training has to be done. When it is to be inducted into the IVF clinical also, like any clinical medical this thing, they have to undergo strict training, quality control thing, then it has to be inducted. Then only the patients who are paying so much money will get benefited.
Yes, sir. Swami, sir.
Yeah. Actually, this is the first step towards the qualification of embryologist defined by the government first time. So we were doing, it was an opportunity for somebody, it was a job, for somebody it was a life. Probably when the people who started very early, it was our life, because we started doing everything, starting as Srinivas said, we started preparing our own media, we are making our own needles, all the things. But now we reached a level where it is absolutely necessary that we have to stand with international standard. We should have some qualification. I think this is a welcoming step. Maybe there may be some plus or minuses in the due course. I think this will be a great thing for all our embryologists, and we should be very proud that we should get that qualification to do embryology. That is the ultimate. Thank you.
Yes, it's no more like anyone and everyone can become an embryologist. There's a qualification to it. You have to go through the rigorous training, and you should have that much of clinical experience under your belt so that you can be called as an embryologist. So it will be a privilege. It has been a privilege, but they have defined the conditions as well for this. Charu sir?
I think
Sorry,
Charu sir has left.
Yeah, Rahul, you can take on the next question, please.
So going up with the next poll, what is your take on retrieving only 7 oocytes from a donor, from a oocyte donor, other than the practical aspect of it, as it is mentioned in the latest ART Act, which is published by the Government of India? So retrieving only 7 oocytes from a oocyte donor is too low as a number, too high as a number, it doesn't matter. Don't know on what basis they have decided that why only this number 7 came into this act. So coming up first.
Let me tell you, because I don't know who has given this idea 7 oocyte. And somebody, clinician, if I ask, and they say PCO. Forget about a PCO case. Even a normal cycle of the PCO, without PCO case, you do get 10 eggs, 15 eggs. They are not PCO case.
Yes.
And I don't know, I'm sad to say all these things actually. Who gave all these things? This is a clinicians only have given this point actually. This is really utter nonsense.
Yes, sir.
I'll tell you, utter nonsense. And it's
Sir,
unscientific.
the winners is
Unscientific.
thing.
Yes, sir. You can continue.
Yes, sir. Continue, sir.
This is unscientific. I'll tell you. Tomorrow, if you want to, have an ART bank, say for example, you have an ART bank, okay? You have a blood bank also. You want a group, you give that particular one, you give it, okay? And you have an ART bank also. You are in this situation, you are supposed to have 7 eggs from one patient and get what you are going to do it, rest of the eggs. Who is going to do 7 eggs only? I don't know how this figure has come up. I don't know. This is going to have so much problem in ART bank, as well as doing the egg pickup also. Tomorrow, once the registration is done, okay, you write an embryology sheet, 10 eggs. Why did you do it? They don't know. Okay, though DHO office, no, they don't know anything. See, guideline says 7. Why did you know? What is the penalty? What is the punishment?
We will write 1A, 2A, 3A like that. So you will get 14 oocytes.
So even there's one more line mentioned in the act that to induce the ovary using milder methods of stimulation. So as per the methods of, conditions from the milder stimulation, the number can be ranging from between 10 to 15. So again, the dilemma is where this number 7 came from. So
I will tell you, Rahul. See, I am an
yes.
experienced. I have learnt it. Okay, I have learnt it. ART bill in the group of people cannot teach me. Okay, I know physiology of the ovary, how the patient has to be dealt, how to take care of the patient. I know all these things.
Yes, sir.
You have to just tell that the patient should not be affected by doing the stimulation protocol. Any drug you give, consent you take, any medicine you give, and the side effect is always there, no?
Yes, sir. It should not be misusing the donor. We should not abuse them. But as such, 7 is a very low number. I'm agreeing.
I'll tell you, all this is as a the point has raised from the clinicians only. There are few clinicians, they'll be very happy to have an PCOS, share the eggs. Okay, they want to bang all those things, and see, because you have to identify somebody who's doing the mistake and punish them. It is not like that. 7 oocyte recovering stimulation. Maybe there must be a separate, school how to stimulate ovary and get not more than 7 eggs. I think the year after the talk is going to come like that only. Okay. When to start increasing the dose, decreasing the dose. Okay. How many antral follicles are there? Oh, this is the one. See, these are all the things which is going to lead to our because something which I really they should be educated to write all these things. Actually, who is educated them? I don't know.
It will become the holy grail, some magical number 7.
Yeah, they want to control the biology by law in the world, entire world. This is the only our government did this. And I think if you see the entire process, it's all done off-boiled, I can say. The instrument list and so many other things, it's all done in very, very hurry up and with some consultation with somebody who learned embryology or ART from Mars or Venus. So we really, this, especially this 7 oocytes, it's going to be a big problem for everybody. Of course, the clinician who is going to face the patients, and no patient wants to spend more money for, cumulative pregnancy. So it is going to be a big problem.
Yeah, I'll tell you one. See, because once Tamil Nadu, this event is happened, people are against those center actually. Okay, center is done a mistake is mistake, but law is something is different. They cannot close the entire hospital. See, they can close only the service. This thing, what law has done now actually. Similarly, like this, so many complaints are going to go to High Court and Supreme Court. This ART bill is going to have its own tough time. Because
one more thing.
One example, if I want to give you, okay, if anybody wants to donor, he has to go, recipient has to go and sit, stand in front of the magistrate, take a oath. Swami, I want a donor egg program. I am going, give me the permission. That is one part. Then after that, they have to come to the ART bank and register it. Okay. After that, they will have to look for their own profile. You think single, even middle class people are going to bear this cost?
And even again, sir, conflicting remarks are coming in terms of confidentiality. Where are we in terms of confidentiality? And we are revoking all the aspects of it.
That is second part. First part is that what logic you have to do all these things, what logic you have, which is very important. See, you have to regulate IVF center, there is no doubt. You make an ART registry, you just like in a PCP and it today how many egg pickup you have done, how many egg, how many fertilize, how many embryo. You have to immediately have to send it the same day only. If I am doing one scanning, same day only they have to report. Similarly, they do it. Then if you just randomly point out and do the inspection, then you will find out. Instead of regulating it, you stop it and make it very stringent. Surrogacy is, I don't think anybody can do surrogacy with this law now.
So, Dr. Akash, can we have the last poll?
Yeah, I think we'll have one last question. And we have probably another one question after that. last question would be the preferred manipulator system. A quick views whether Narshige, RI, Ependoff, or all versatile with all.
Now I've used
I
all.
think all.
Now I've used Narsige, RI, and Ependoff. In fact, you have put in the same order only. Okay. Narsige is now 70% of the people are using Narsige. Then research, RI, then Ependoff.
Yes, sir. It has come in the order.
I worked in all three.
All three.
But
yes,
no,
I was serious.
I like Ependoff because it's a German product, no. But I go by Toyota, not Mercedes.
Long run, sir. Because your German things have to be maintained very delicately. You have to follow them.
That's the main reason. Very expensive.
Right, sir. So I think this would be the last question for the day. Thank you so much, judges, for this. I would just have one last request. If you can jump to question number 17 on a lighter note. Question number 17.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
What is that?
Just something away from our routine things. So opinion poll, this was the technical side of it. We have a little non-technical side. Sanket, are you here? I think
Yes,
you would be more interested in this one.
Yeah. Fine. So, well, a little deviating from the mainstream embryology topic, on the occasion of Embryology Day conducting this Janta poll, we can take a privilege or liberty to have this question. So which is the better movie? Bahubali the beginning, or KGF chapter 1, or none of the above?
None of them. I like Vikram.
You are KGF, you have put KGF, yes, fan. I know you are yes fan, Sanket.
Oh, sir, any else movie?
Any other movie you would say, sir?
I like
your choice.
Good news movie. Good news.
Good news, sir.
Hey, because I followed the lab concept in my IVF lab.
Okay. See through lab.
See through. Instead of modular, it is a glass.
So we have tried to put only the last ones, and we have one more something similar. Next question. Which movie do you like more out of that was the old one, no? So this is the newer ones. RRR or KGF 2 or both?
Both or none of the above.
Or none of the above, both another option.
Okay, KGF. Because the fan is there.
Finally
KGF 2.
KGF 2.
Most of us, I think.
One last question regarding the US.
Yeah, one more question. The last one, actual last one. So KGF. This is both KGF 2 and RRR, like they are both are equally like that's the better one. And instead of best, we are going to worse.
Oh, who is the worst president?
Trump or Joe Biden?
Trump or Joe Biden. I know we can never end without politics and movies.
No, I would say for NM, these are the best presidents.
Or sir, any else from them?
For Narendra Modi, these are the two best presidents.
Why we are not put Indian presidents there, man? Why we have to look for USA? Draupadi Murmu, today she is become the president. So I think she is the best. I like any Abdul Kalam. That is different issue. Yeah.
So, Dr. Akash, are we ending up with the Janta Darbar poll?
Quiz results, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. We are waiting for the quiz results.
Students are waiting for the result.
Yes.
Yeah. Only the 10 team is waiting.
Dr. Sanjay Shukla is here.
Shukla, sir.
Results.
Yeah.
Hey, who is going to declare result here?
Dr. Sanjay Shukla.
Sanjay
Ji.
Dr. Sanjay and Dr. Varsha and Alex were judge.
I think Varsha is not there.
Yeah, Varsha is not there. She was busy actually. I called her.
Sanjay ji is there.
Within
Sanjay ji
2
is
minutes, we will be posting the results.
Shall I flash the results, sir?
Please.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. The results are seen in the screen for the 10 teams.
Shukla ji, please announce the result.
Thank you. I was kept on mute. So it was a very interesting and very informative quiz, and the participants have given whatever they could, the best of them. Incidentally, one has to be winner, and it is Dr. Anantalakshmi and her team who have scored 12 marks within 300 seconds. So they were not only good at answering the questions, but also very fast. Karan and team stood second. They have answered, they have scored 10 marks in 356 seconds. And the third one is Sandhya and team. They were very fast, literally fast, but they could answer only, they could get only 9 marks. So congratulations to all three, first three teams, and also to other teams who could not score as many marks as the other ones, but we appreciate their spirits of sportsmanship. And as our president has announced, all the participants will get certificate of participation, but the top 3 teams will get certificate as well as the mementos during ACE 2022.
Anything certificate, memento, anything prize money is there, Judge?
Yeah,
Prize money is declared by our former president, and he would sponsor all the prize money.
Yes, exactly.
Want me to declare now? You want me to declare now?
So, last comment on the selection or preference of the politicians. So those who can understand Hindi, they know about the Ramcharitmanas, and Tulsidas ji has mentioned Paungrap ho hame kahani. That means whoever be the king, how does that matter? But the thing is, in today's scenario, it is the opposite. Paungrap ho hamahan kahani. That means be the king, anyone, but it is the general public who would always be victimized. So
Exactly.
It doesn't matter whether it is Joe Biden or Trump or Mr. Modi or whatever, whosoever. So all in all, it was a wonderful session. I invite Dr. Ved Prakash to conclude.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Sukaji. And thanks to all of you. And thanks to Shield Pharma for arranging all of this. I was little thinking that I don't know how it will happen, but I think it is happened very nicely and conducted very nicely by Sanket and Akash and Rahul. It was done very wonderfully and excellent things have happened, and our seniors are there. They actually in last 10, 20 question, 10, 11 questions, they express their opinion, and I think all of the participants could get some good information from these this opinion polls. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for organizing such a nice event in our platform Shield Connect, and in future also we will be looking forward for conducting such a nice session with you, sir. So thank you very much, sir. Have a good day.
Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Prachi. Thank you so much.